Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano vowing to release more illegal immigrants because of the crushing demands of the sequester. But the secretary says it's only several hundred being released.
Career officials made the decision that there were some very, what I would call very low-level, low-risk detainees that could be put into a supervised release program, and that's what happened. And we're going to continue to do that. Several hundred are related to sequester, but it wasn't thousands.
The House Judiciary Committee, however, says they've obtained an Immigration and Customs Enforcement document that shows plans to release up to 5,000 illegal immigrants. Joining us now is the chairman of that committee, Judiciary Committee Chairman, Congressman Bob Goodlatte of Virginia. Good to have you with us, Mr. Chairman.
Good to be with you, Lou.
The effect here is that the Secretary is misrepresenting the reality of which she is apparently keenly aware, since it's originating with one of her departments.
You bet. Her department's documents showed not only that they intend to release up to 5,000 or more, but also that this was planned ahead of time, that they knew this going in. And as a result, it calls into question whether this was clearly done in order to try to intimidate, to engage in scare tactics with the American people to convince them that the sequestration was bad and that they should blame other people rather than take responsibility for doing the right thing, and that is to manage spending cuts that are needed in a responsible way. In fact, when she says that these are low-level folks, these are people engaged in fraud, theft, have been convicted, and people charged with more serious crimes who have not been tried yet, and they're releasing them as well. So it's a pretty serious undertaking that they're doing for people who are not lawfully in the country to begin with, have committed additional crimes, and should be deported from the country, not released on our streets to commit more crimes.
Well, and of course this does nothing more than compound the complexities of what you all along contended is the very complex issue of illegal immigration, border security, and how to best resolve it. This is, to me at least, peculiar that the administration would make your job even more difficult by doing things like this, as well as, of course, the obvious issue of open society being vulnerable to all of the criminals that you're talking about being released.
You're absolutely right. It's a bad idea, but to put it on top of a very legitimate effort going on in both the House and the Senate to try to solve this very difficult problem of immigration reform, both legal and illegal immigration reform, when the president says, pass a bill or I'm going to demand that you pass my bill, that kind of thing wasn't well received a couple of weeks ago when he did that. Now, to suggest to the American people that a way to handle sequestration is to release criminal aliens onto our streets makes it very difficult to win the argument that we can do immigration reform and make sure that this doesn't occur again in terms of millions of people coming into our country illegally. How do you convince them of that when the administration's got to carry out the laws and they're not carrying out the laws? In fact, they're doing the worst thing. They're releasing the people that are least desirable to have in the United States back on the streets to commit crimes. It's not good. It's not representative of the average person that we're trying to address in this problem. They're highlighting the worst people and saying, hey, we're fine with those people being out on the streets of our country. It is a very, very bad situation.
Jeb Bush the other day telling yesterday, telling the Today Show that effectively, and in his new book, that he is opposed to citizenship for illegal immigrants. Is that helpful, or does that add complexities to your job as well, a judiciary?
I think it's a responsible look at the question that we have of all of the members of the House, Republicans and Democrats, and that is, where is that sweet spot between deportation and citizenship where we can bring people out of the shadows, not criminals, they should go home, but people who have come here illegally and not committed other crimes, they should have some kind of opportunity to come out from the shadows and live a more open existence, pay taxes, be more responsible members of the community, and it doesn't have to be citizenship, it could be something else. So I think it was very interesting to see former Governor Bush take that position, and we welcome hearing his thoughts as well as others.
Yeah, and he had previously been for a pathway to citizenship, as it's called. Very quickly, and we've got to run because we've run over, Congressman, but do you believe that the House is going to preserve regular order, that is, have open hearings and go to the natural and normal process, traditional process of the House?
It is so important that we do that on all of our legislation, but critically important for immigration because most members of Congress don't know a lot about this issue. We need to bring them forward, educate them about it. We're doing that with briefing sessions, but also holding, we've already held 4 hearings on immigration. Right. We're going to hold more and try to bring this through regular order. That's the way to build support from the bottom up and actually pass something. When the Senate tried to do it the other way 6 years ago, it collapsed when the public found out what was in the bill.
Some might suggest that they are attempting it, and with all the best of intentions now with their bipartisan Gang of 8. But it's good to know that, well, your way sounds like the American way, if I can put it that way, Mr. Chairman. We thank you.
We welcome the work of the Gang of 8, and there's a group in the House doing that too, but once they produce that, it should then be worked through regular order to see what of those ideas could work and what might need to have some changes made to it.
Congressman, as always, good talking.